All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er draft video. All right, we are closing in on the upcoming NFL draft, and I've been talking about a bunch of different players that I like, and and yet I wanted to come up with my draft crush, the guy that I just keep watching that I'm like, God, man, that guy would be a phenomenal 49er. That's a guy that I'd like to see them get. And there's so many players that you love, and a lot of them are going in the first two rounds or the first three rounds. And the 49ers don't pick till 99. So they're not picking till the end of the third round. So if I'm going to go draft crush, I got to go somebody that I actually think is really, really good, could play a significant role, and is going to be there when they pick at the end of the third round. Really, it's more like a fourth round pick. And the guy that I'm going with is Byron Young. You know, you say, oh, you're copying Mayoko. Mayoko predicted that he was putting out, like the first 5 or 6 picks that the Niners made would make in the draft, and he went with Byron Young. But the difference is this is a different Byron Young. He's talking about the Byron Young, the defensive end, the edge rusher, the 250-pound defensive end exclusively from Tennessee, who's a special player for sure. I love him too. I just kind of question whether or not, size wise, he's 250 pounds. The Niners typically go for defensive ends around 270. I don't know that he's their kind of guy in the wide nine. I think they want a bigger bodied guy, but that's just a guess. So I don't necessarily see that Byron Young coming to the 49ers. But there's another Byron Young in this draft, and it's Byron Young from the University of Alabama. And he's a really interesting player. He went to West Jones High School in Mississippi. He was heavily recruited in 2019, 4-star recruit, tremendous player in high school, and he's 6'3", 300 pounds. And he went to Alabama as a highly recruited player over a number of different schools, and then started 5 games as a freshman there in Tuscaloosa, and he really did play well. And he played as a sophomore, played as a junior, played again as a senior. And this senior year, his final year, there he played the best ball he's played. And he got invited to the Senior Bowl, really shined as a senior. And I don't think he was considered to be a big-time pro prospect coming into that final year, but he had a great senior year. 34 and 3/8 inch arms. So you're talking about really, really long arms. 11-inch hands, and you can see the power in these guys' huge mitts. Those are monster hands. So he's got really long arms, really huge hands. He definitely is a guy who has versatility. He can play defensive end. He can play defensive tackle. He's excelled against the run. He's been excellent against the run. He plays with balance. What I really love is there's a lot of defensive linemen that don't play the game on their feet. You can't make tackles when you're on the ground. This guy plays on his feet. He's got tremendous balance. He doesn't get knocked off his pins very often. He doesn't just have weight room strength. He had 24 reps of 225, by the way, on the bench in Indy. But it's not just weight room strength. You can see that strength on film. He's got natural strength. Where I really love him, he's terrific on these twists and these stunts. It's so easy to picture him in the 49er defensive alignment. He's really strong right now against the run at the point of attack. But he's also very scheme versatile, and I kind of see a really special player here. The other thing that's really special about the guy, he hustles at all times. He's got an incredible motor, and the motor keeps revving. Now, Pro Football Focus gave him an 88.8 run stop grade, which is really good. He had 12.5% pass rush win rate last year, so he actually had some really some growth as a pass rusher. But if you watch the Ole Miss game, my God, the guy was awesome against Ole Miss. What you see is freakish agility at 300 pounds. 7.68 3-cone drill. That was 7th among all defensive linemen in Indy. And you can see that 3-cone drill when you watch the film. He played 12 games as a senior. He played 492 total snaps this year, 28 tackles, 25 pressures on the quarterback, 14 quarterback hits. or I should say 14 quarterback hurries, 7 quarterback hits, 4 sacks, and he was named second team All SEC. Um, there's just a lot to like about this player. I mean, he's got the combination of things that I think you're really looking for if you're the 49ers. Now, the Niners are looking for an edge rusher opposite Nick Bosa, and this guy may not be that guy. They're also looking for, they worked out DeAndre Coburn from Texas, who's more like a DJ Jones. He's 6'1", 320 pounds. He's got a little pass rush ability as well, but he's really more of a 2-down guy. This guy is neither. He's more of like, I don't want to say, he's kind of like, it reminds me a little of Contavious Street. He moves great for a 300-pounder. And you may even want to lean him out and see if you could get him down to 285, and he might be really good as a first and second down defensive end opposite Nick Bosa in the 49er defense. If you could get him down to 285. If he's going to get bigger and he's going to be 300, 305, 310, then I think you could still use him in several spots on your defensive line. What I love about him is I think he can be a player that can be utilized in a lot of different ways. I think he can be utilized on first and second down as an outside rusher. I think you could use him in certain situations on first and second down inside at defensive tackle. I think if you want to play a myriad of games up front, you could start him inside and loop him outside. You can start him outside and work him back inside. I think he's just a very versatile, athletic, talented defensive lineman who potentially could play inside and be a real good rusher inside. Or he could potentially play outside, and he would probably have to drop a few pounds to play defensive end in a 4-3 consistently, but I think he could. So this guy is, when you watch him on film, you see the violence in his hands, you see the strength, you see the blue chip talent that he was coming out of the state of Mississippi. West Jones High School in Mississippi. And he was a great high school player. And then you can see the arm length. So, I mean, he really plays. 34-inch arms. I mean, you're talking about almost 35-inch arms. This guy's got really, really long arms, and he's functionally strong, and he plays on his feet, and he's incredible at the point of attack. He's really good right now against the run. So if, like, the Niners wanted to use him on first and second down as a defensive end, I think this guy could be a real impact guy as a run defender in the 4-3. I also think he would be a perfect guy to have on your bench because, even if you didn't start him, he could come in on any of your interior spots or defensive end. I think he could play end or tackle, and I think he's a guy that is going to be I believe that Byron Young is going to have a better pro career than he had a college career. He was a good college player, but man, when you watch him, you can see the violence in his hands. You can see the strength. You can see the long arms. He doesn't have tons of moves. He's still going to have to learn some technique. But I don't look at some guys, you look at them and say they're a tweener and they're not really good fits for either spot. And I'm sure there'll be teams that will look at this player and say that exact thing. He's too small to be an every down defensive tackle. He's too big to be a 4-3 defensive end. You know what? He's not quite what we're looking for in a 34 defensive end. There's going to be teams that kind of look at him and just go, you know what? He's not quite this. He's not quite that. But when you look at what he really is, and you kind of peel the layers back and you watch the film, he comes off blocks with explosiveness. He generates a lot of speed in a short area. This guy can really separate from an offensive lineman and shoot to the quarterback. I think he got basically overlooked on an Alabama team that was stacked with all kinds of athletes everywhere, and people just didn't take account of this guy. This guy's got some real juice. Now, he's projected to go in the third or fourth round. My guess is he's probably going to fall a little bit because he is, another guy on a very loaded Alabama team. But I think if I'm the 49ers and I get those 3 picks, 99, 101, 102, this is a guy that I'm absolutely taking. I think he's a guy that could really help them. I think he's a guy that could give them insurance against a number of different injuries up front. I really like this player. So Byron Jones, defensive end, Alabama, the Larry Krueger 2023 draft crush. And thanks to our sponsor, Pig and a Pickle. Check them out in Corte Madera, open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And they're open Wednesday through Sunday in Emeryville, inside the Emeryville Public Marketplace. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in Northern California. And make sure you keep it locked on the Krug Show for all your top Niner and draft coverage right up and through the NFL draft. And thanks for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.